Hello and welcome to the Case Study Cubby, where we break down advertising and marketing's greatest brand case studies of all time. Today, we are focusing on Tubi and long-term brand building. Hello, if you're new here, my name's Ollie McAteer. I work at Mischief at No Fixed Address, the most effective independent advertising agency in the entire world. Let's get into it. We have been creative agency of record with Tubi for around 3 years now, and the problem they came to us with was a really chewy and exciting one. The brief essentially was, what the F is Tubi? What the hell is Tubi? Tubi is a streaming service and an app that happened to be living by default on a lot of people's smart TVs, but most people, or not enough people, didn't even know what it was, what it did, and actually to the point where if you searching it on Google, the autofill would fill out, is Tubi a scam? So lots of work to be done in terms of perception and awareness. I myself, just a handful of years ago, remember seeing this little icon on my smart TV and honestly not understanding what it was. The insight as we started to dig into what makes Tubi very special and very different in a category that is explosive and somewhat a sea of sameness when you think about all the streaming services was this. Most services, when you think about it, absolutely pour all of their focus and marketing spend into advertising and pushing titles, the next shiny TV show, movie, blockbuster streaming hit. Now, Tubi's different. It has an endless content library that dwarfs Netflix and other streaming services. We're talking around 300,000 titles, TV shows, movies. Because it has so much content, it means it has so much content per genre. That means if you love Stranger Things on Netflix, then you are going to find a bunch of shows that are similar in terms of teenagers in 70s America, sci-fi, thriller on Tubi. If you have a niche or an interest, there is no better place to explore it in terms of content than Tubi. Now, this informs the brand platform that we have today for Tubi called If It's In You, It's In Here. Super Bowl 2023 was the first chance that they were going to debut their new personality to the world. We're not marketing titles. We chose to market Tubi as a brand and a brand personality. So to introduce that personality, Super Bowl 23, we had two spots. The first spot was called Rabbit Holes, and this showcased this kind of menacing looking rabbit kidnapping people and throwing them down rabbit holes of content that they didn't know they needed. Once we showed them what Tubi does and explained what Tubi does, we then had a second spot that showed how it felt to be so hooked on Tubi and wanting to explore your interest-based niche via Tubi. With more of an experience ad, we call it. It was a real hacking of the Super Bowl. So in a really pivotal moment in Q4, it was a very tight game if you remember, real pivotal moment, we have an ad break, and then it looks as though we go back to these commentators and they're like, what do you think about the game? We had shot this previously months before in Miami. Then suddenly it looks like, whoop, this menu comes up and someone searches for Tubi, lands on Mr. and Mrs. Smith and goes into it. Now, there are so many pet cams and cams inside homes these days that the internet was flooded with genuine reactions from people who thought someone had sat on the TV remote control or had changed the channel mid-game at a very pivotal moment. This catapulted Tubi into fame overnight. People knew what Tubi was and what it stood for, and we had introduced a personality to the world in a very, very unignorable way. But it couldn't just stop there. It really opened the door for Tubi, but we needed to continue building on this long-term brand platform. Lucky for us and Tubi then that we had this awesome creative foundation on If It's In You, It's In Here. And in the months and now years since that Super Bowl ad, we have turned up time and time again with messaging and different campaigns across different verticals for consumer, for B2B, because they get money from ads, so they need to focus on media planners and buyers for B2B, and the sports vertical, all laddering back up to the same brand platform, but talking about it in different unignorable ways. So this was a campaign under the platform called Free for Everyone, and it's all about saying Tubi is free for absolutely everyone, for small business owners to thugs and cronies who shake down small business owners to get money to buy stuff for their girlfriends even though they have wives. And a consumer-facing campaign called The Things You Love on Tubi Just Keep Going and Going, to explain again that vast and never-ending rabbit hole of interest-based content that you love. So hey, if you like hunky lifeguards like this guy, the content, like his abs, will just keep going and going and going. Coming to life in the sports vertical, because NFL is such a big season for them. A lot of buys for NFL. We created little 15-second, 30-second spots of this same vein. In a mock kind of replay, instant replay room, we would have lots of different scenes. So this one was like, hey, check out the jet touchdown. But it's actually a literal jet touching down from a piece of content from Tubi. I could watch that all day, just keeps going. On Tubi, your love for the jets and action movies just keeps going. Now again, advertising is how they make money. So targeting brands and trying to convince them to advertise on Tubi and targeting media planner and buyers in the agency world is really critical. And we've done a ton of B2B work, again, all laddering back up to that same platform. If it's in you, it's in here for the B2B audience. And I love this one. It is called, had to look it up to make sure I got the name right. It's called A Call to Action, and it's a series of long form content, like 5-minute plus mini films that we created in partnership with Tubi that actually live on Tubi to this day, targeted at media planner and buyers. They are so niche that you would not understand them unless you work in advertising and marketing on the media planner and buyer side. There's one with this guy who's tied to a chair and he's in like an abandoned factory. It looks like he's being beaten mob style, and he had placed media in the wrong place on behalf of the brand. Every media planner's worst nightmare. When Tubi became really, really popular and started getting millions and millions and millions of monthly viewers out of nowhere, then we brought this to life with a consumer/B2B campaign where we were like, hey, Tubi is now more popular than most things. Like 75 million people are watching Tubi, 36 million Americans play pickleball. It's more popular than pickleball. Another B2B campaign for media planner and buyers and brands who came together for the upfront season in New York this year showcased amazing kind of behavioral data that we have on Tubi viewers and how that could be of use to, say, a cleaning product brand. So here we go. Murder mystery fans appreciate a good stain remover. Information that we have points to Tubi viewers 20% more likely to buy cleaning products every single week. A survey that we did. In fall this year, our latest consumer-facing campaign for Tubi was this another take on it being free. So it's not only free, but have you ever noticed that when you sign up for some services, it's free for a month, and then like you kind of forget about it, and then suddenly you see you being charged, and you're like, wait, I'm still paying for that? Well, Tubi's not only free, but it's free forever. You will never have to pay for Tubi. So we put this into action and brought these really fun characters to life in all of their genres. So in fantasy, we have like a stinky bog goblin, and he's like, I'm going to be a goblin forever? Earlier this year, we turned up at Super Bowl again. And this was a really big push for the brand platform. If it's in you, it's in here. Again, hammering home how much Tubi has in terms of power for interest-based content and appealing to your niche passions. This is all about a guy who was born, obviously, with a love for Westerns. We even came up with a jingle. Look it up. The jingle's pretty terrifying. And all of his classmates and all of his colleagues as he's growing up, everyone around him is moving with the cultural trend. But not this guy. This guy's sticking to Westerns. All examples here of how we've launched multiple campaigns. There's been plenty more underneath one unifying brand platform, but across different verticals: consumer, B2B, sport. So how has it fared? Well, in its third year now, we are entering, and the results are outstanding. This year, for the first time, viewership surpassed 100 million on a monthly basis. It had previously overtaken that of Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus. That is crazy. A lot of people are coming to Tubi on a monthly basis. In terms of total viewing hours, it passed 1 billion over its lifetime. Tubi today now accounts for more than 2% of all TV consumed across streaming and cable in America. That is a huge amount. And the share of total TV viewership has more than doubled since February 2023, when we launched the Super Bowl ad and introduced them to the world, in a 120% increase, which is outpacing the 34% growth in the overall streaming category. This year, Tubi is owned by Fox Corporation. It is making Fox $1 billion in revenue. It is now a billion-dollar brand, a case study of long-term brand building from challenger brand, little-known app, to a top streaming contender and a billion-dollar brand, all with some brave marketing.